After more than 3 decades of sexual abuse and human trafficking, a Windsor woman is sharing her story of survival. She fled and started a new life in Northern Ontario, and she wants other victims to know they can too. We're calling her Jane to protect her real identity, and we've also changed her voice. And a warning, some of the details are disturbing. She says it feels like she's trying to complete a jigsaw puzzle. Jane has lived through 30 years of sexual abuse, and it has taken even longer to piece it all together.
My father was sexually abusing me. He also belonged to a network of people, and my uncle also belonged to that network of people, and he was also abusing me. And through the course of time, they ended up using me in this network to traffic me and sell me for sex.
The sexual abuse started when she was a toddler, continued until she was about 35, most of it happening in Windsor, Essex. Now in her 40s, the memories are painful as she struggles to make sense of it all.
I get very angry. I get very distraught because of the family connection. Because how do you escape your family?
She was diagnosed with dissociative identity disorder.
It's a coping mechanism that the brain uses in order to survive through extreme trauma. And so what happens is you're separating that memory from your conscious awareness. And the more that happens, the more those other parts develop as actual personalities.
Clinical psychologist José Jarry explains.
It's more that their own personality is fragmented, and that different parts of who they are expressed in these different presentations.
And it's meant memories lost. Missing puzzle pieces, so much so that Jane didn't realize the full extent of what was happening to her until her 30s. Through therapy, some repressed memories came back to her. When Jane realized just how much of her life was entangled in the abuse, she tried to escape. She ignored all types of communication from her traffickers, stopped showing up to sexual events, some of which her uncle planned. But that made things worse for her. It led to harassment, stalking, and even more violence. Eventually, with help from a therapist, she packed up her life and fled with her partner at the time to Thunder Bay.
It was kind of a escape in the night sort of situation.
It wasn't until her father and uncle died years later that she finally felt free. Jane's friend and former therapist says her journey has been remarkable.
I see her as just such a resilient person that I cannot imagine what she had to endure. Imagine having no safety as a little girl growing up. I mean, she is an inspiration because she has come such a long way.
She's still in Thunder Bay with her wife and hasn't been back to Windsor in years. She's in touch with her mother, but they don't discuss details of what happened to her. Her focus now? Advocacy about dissociative identity disorder and helping other victims of abuse.
Sometimes it seems when you're in that position that there's no way out, but I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. I have a wonderful life now. It feels free. It feels so fulfilling and just makes me feel like I'm ready to go out and join the world.
She continues to heal. Years later, the puzzle in her brain still isn't complete. She says it may never be solved, but she's feeling more whole. You can read more of Jane's story at cbc.ca/Windsor, and on the page with the article, you'll also find resources for anyone who has suffered sexual violence and if you're in need of support. It's also where you'll find the number for the Canadian Human Trafficking Hotline.